Welcome to the first episode of Feedback Corner. In this video I will talk about your games and share my opinion on them. But before we start, I would like to say 2 words about why this video is created. Looking at Discord, itch.io or Facebook groups, I notice a very sad trend. People upload games they work on for weeks or months and no one cares. This is especially visible on Discord, where there are walls of links from various creators and no one gives a shit about them. I was one of those devs myself and I know it's not a nice feeling, so I thought I'd try to help. I care about your games. If you want me to talk about your project, then you can send it on my Discord server or private message me on other social media, all links below. Okay, that's it, let's start. The first game is Survival Crew. This game is a simple real-time strategy where our goal is to survive on a space station that is being attacked from all sides by meteors. We have to obtain materials from meteors and secure our base in order to survive as long as possible. We control 4 astronauts whose oxygen level is constantly dropping. To keep them alive, we have to place them next to the oxygen containers. 1 astronaut can be assigned to each container. During my games, 1 distributor was enough for me. The rest of the guys collected materials from the rocks. And when the oxygen level on one of them dropped, I replaced it with the fully charged one. To protect our base, we must place towers that shoot lasers at meteors passing by. In addition, the destroyed parts of the base can be rebuilt. It works best during an active pause that allows us to send orders, build stuff and make necessary repairs. This game has a really interesting idea for itself and I hope that a creator will develop and continue it. I would like to see the research on a new technology, different opponents, random events, different weapons and above all, more use for astronauts. At the moment they are mainly a life bar and at a later stage you hardly need to move them to collect resources. Also when they die we have no way to recruit new ones. I will complain about one more thing. Towers need some basic animation. Rotation and a simple loading bar would have a very positive impact on the perception of the entire graphics. I also miss a better indication that something is being built. Keyboard shortcuts are a good idea, but it would be nice if there was also an icon of the planet building like in other RTS games. I see great potential in the project. I can see improved version with different missions, with different goals. We have to survive a certain number of attacks, build some expensive and complex building or recruit a certain amount of astronauts and maybe send them to expensive ships to some planet. I don't know, well, between the missions we would develop different units and buildings. There are so many possibilities. I hope this project will be continued. Good job. Next game. Coin Knight is a platformer in which we play the role of a knight who doesn't know what money is for, because instead of spending them in a tavern, he throws it at bats and fires spitting skulls. The basis of enjoying a platformer is a good character movement, and here it's a little frustrating. It's very hard to jump where you plan to. It would be useful to refine the controls during the jump. It's currently stiff and has a very negative impact on the reception of the entire game. Controlling player feels like a walking on ice, slowly starts moving and then stops for a long time. I have the impression that some platforms are a little buggy. You should only be able to jump on them from the bottom, but we bounce off them when we jump from the side. Luckily those are just minor things. Just change a few settings and you'll be fine. I know the game is called Coin Knight, but a picking up system like in Mario 2 or Chip and Dale would work much better. A short animation of lifting would make it impossible to spam attacks. Currently there are too few coins to be useful anywhere except the boss. As for the boss, I really like this one. The fight with him was dynamic, hard and satisfying. The only problem I had was with the fireballs. Sometimes it was too hard to avoid them with other boss attacks, and it's a pity that they couldn't be destroyed with the projectiles. It would give more gameplay possibilities. The graphics, like in the previous game, are simple but solid. The animated characters and music are also pretty good. I complain it a lot, but as I said, those are just the minor problems that can be easy to fix. At this stage the game looks good, just needs a little more work. This time we are dealing with a puzzle game. Chiba is a simple concept known from other games such as Sokoban, but here implemented in a very interesting and charming way. In the game we play as the title Dog Cook. We cut vegetables by moving them on the grid. Different ingredients have different number of moves needed to slice. If we slice them too much, we have to repeat the level. The graphics in the game are pretty good. We can see here a very solid pixel art with pastel colors. The game also has very nice calm music that perfectly harmonizes with the gameplay. I think this project would be great as a mobile game. I have the least to say about this game. It's hard to fault anything. The only problem I have with this game is that we can only go back 3 moves. I think it would be much better if you could undo any amount. It would only affect the final grade of the level. In some missions it was very frustrating to constantly reset the level and arrange the elements again and again. Also, if we chop ingredients too much, we immediately lose. We don't even get the option to undo. Oh, by the way, the game even has a world map with a mission select and level editor. I highly recommended it to fans of the genre and dogs, I guess. Randy and Manilla is a very unusual game, because it's basically not one game but a collection of several genres. The creators themselves define it as an experimental game project. We start on a spaceship where we have to fly to the specific world where we will get the missions. Here the game turns into a 3D platformer. Those worlds are very alive. There are a lot of characters running around, there are a lot of dialogues and cutscenes. Those world building elements seems to be very thought out. We have 2 characters to choose from, the titled Randy and Manilla. The missions are divided into several types. One I got to see was 3D and 2D platformer missions, and an isometric view, I think inspired by Zelda games. The biggest problem I have with this project is the first phase of the game. The issue is that the ship is pretty hard to control and the environment is very illegible. I think you could dim those strong colors of the cube and slightly refine the flying. I must admit that at the start I didn't really know where to fly. Maybe some more precise guidelines would be useful so that the target was always visible from the distance. Also, I don't know what to think about the missions where you have to destroy more than 100 blocks. If you make a mistake and die, then you have to start all over again. I think it's not a good idea. Mixing styles usually looks like a mistake, inability to do something better. But here, interestingly, it works great. The graphics is good. Maybe some characters could be a bit more interesting and the environment more diverse. But I think it's a matter of an early version of the game. Also, what I don't like is the stiff camera in the 3D platformer section and strange controls. Instead of E and F for attacks, I would give the option of sticking the camera to the mouse permanently and attacks with the left and right mouse buttons. And coins could be approaching to the player a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I should get one, but I just miss it. I know that it's problematic when you have to adjust the controls to several styles, but currently it's not very convenient and leaning more to the mouse would be a better solution. All this just needs some time to refine. I'm sure it will turn out to be a very interesting game. However, we need a little help to make it happen. The developers are currently raising funds to finish the game. Show them some love, because the game definitely deserves it. I added a link to the Indiegogo campaign in the description. That's all for this episode. Tell me what you think about the new series and all of those games in the comments. Thanks for watching, please like, subscribe and see you soon.